The house is quiet, too quiet. It's early morning. The sun is barely coming through the kitchen window. A cup of coffee sits untouched on the table, still warm, still full, and across from it sits a man in his 70s. He rubs his eyes slowly, not because he just woke up, but because he already feels exhausted, again. He slept through the night. He stayed home yesterday. He didn't do anything physically hard, and yet, his body feels heavy, almost like someone pulled the batteries out of him while he was sleeping. He looks down at the table and quietly whispers, "Why am I still so tired?" Now here's the part that should make you pause. What if that feeling is not just about getting older? What if your body has been trying to send you a message for months, maybe even years? But the signs were so quiet, so ordinary, that you never realized something deeper could be happening. Because this kind of exhaustion often doesn't arrive all at once. It creeps in slowly. First, you need an extra nap, then simple chores feel harder, then you stop wanting to go out as much. And one day you wake up tired. Before the day has even begun, most people brush this off. They say things like, "Well, I guess this is just aging," but over the years I've noticed something troubling. Many seniors who believed their exhaustion was normal later discovered their body had been waving warning flags the entire time. Not loud warnings, quiet ones, the kind people ignore. And what makes this even more concerning is that some of the most common causes of constant fatigue in older adults have nothing to do with laziness, weakness, or simply getting old. In fact, this might surprise you. Sometimes exhaustion is the very first clue that the body is struggling behind the scenes long before bigger symptoms appear. But this is where most people get it wrong. Because the real problem is usually not what they think it is, and the deeper truth behind this constant tiredness is something we need to talk about very carefully. This may surprise you. But feeling drained every single day is not something you should simply accept, and yet that's exactly what millions of older adults do. They wake up tired, they move through the day tired, and by evening they feel like they have nothing left in the tank, so they tell themselves, "Well, I'm over 60 now. Maybe this is just how life feels." But let me explain something important. Getting older can change your energy a little. That part is true, but constant exhaustion, the kind that follows you everywhere, the kind that makes even small tasks feel heavier than they used to, that is not something your body should quietly surrender to without a reason. And here's what I've seen over and over again. Many people normalize symptoms that their body may actually be trying to warn them about. It's a little like driving a car with the warning lights covered by tape. The engine is struggling, something underneath needs attention. But because the car is still moving, you assume everything is fine, until one day it isn't. Have you noticed yourself needing more naps lately? Or maybe simple chores feel strangely exhausting now. You fold laundry and need to sit down afterward. You walk through the grocery store, and suddenly your legs feel heavy. Some people even describe it as feeling foggy all the time. Not sick exactly, just slower, less sharp, less motivated. And that loss of motivation can be confusing because many seniors blame themselves for it. But sometimes the issue is not laziness at all. Sometimes the body simply isn't producing, storing, or delivering energy the way it should. That's why paying attention matters. Not panicking, not assuming the worst, just noticing patterns. Here's one simple thing I often recommend. For the next 7 days, keep track of your energy. Nothing complicated, just write down when you feel most tired, when you feel more alert, what you ate, how you slept, and whether certain activities drain you faster. Because small patterns often reveal big clues. And many people are shocked when they finally see how often their exhaustion follows the same rhythm every day. Now at this point, you may still be thinking, maybe I just need more sleep, and sometimes that's part of it. But what comes next is something many people never connect to: energy at all. And it quietly drains thousands of seniors every single day without them realizing it. Here's what I've seen again and again. People sleep 8 hours and still wake up exhausted, and this confuses them, because in their mind sleep should fix tiredness. But sleep and rest are not always the same thing. You can be in bed all night and still never reach the kind of deep recovery your body truly needs. As we get older, sleep changes. Many seniors wake up several times during the night without fully realizing it. Sometimes it's stress, sometimes it's medications, sometimes it's pain, bathroom trips, snoring, or simply a lighter sleep cycle that comes with age. And over time, this interrupted sleep slowly chips away at energy. It's like charging your phone all night with a broken cable. The phone is plugged in 4 hours, but the battery never fully charges. So you wake up already running low, And the difficult part is this happens so gradually that many people think feeling exhausted is normal. But poor sleep affects far more than energy. It can affect memory, mood, balance, even motivation. That's why one simple change can sometimes make a bigger difference than people expect. Try reducing bright screens and heavy meals before bedtime. Give your brain and body a quieter landing place at night. Even small improvements in sleep quality may help restore more energy than you realize. But what comes next may be even more draining than poor sleep. Because this next issue often hides in plain sight, and many seniors don't notice it until their body starts struggling. Dehydration. Now this might sound too simple to matter, but let me explain why it matters so much. As people age, the sense of thirst often becomes weaker. In other words, your body may need water without sending strong signals for it. So many older adults walk around mildly dehydrated every day and never realize it, and the symptoms can be surprisingly easy to miss. Feeling dizzy when standing up, dry mouth, headaches, fatigue that seems to appear for no clear reason, even confusion or feeling mentally off. Here's a simple way to think about it. Your blood helps carry oxygen and nutrients throughout your body, but without enough fluids, it can become like slow-moving traffic on a crowded road. Everything slows down. Your muscles feel weaker. Your brain feels foggier and your energy drops. One practical habit can help more than people expect. Instead of drinking large amounts all at once, try drinking small amounts of water consistently throughout the day. A few sips every hour, especially in the morning, especially during warm weather, and especially if you take medications that may increase fluid loss. Now the next sign is where things start becoming more serious. Because sometimes the problem is not just poor sleep or dehydration. Sometimes the body is struggling to create energy at all. The next sign is something many seniors ignore for years. Because on the surface, everything seems normal. You're eating meals, you're getting through the day. Maybe you even tell yourself, I eat pretty well for my age. But here's the part many people never realize. Sometimes the problem is not what you eat. Sometimes the problem is what your body can no longer absorb properly. And this becomes more common with age than most people think. Nutrients like iron and vitamin B12 help your body create healthy blood cells and move oxygen where it needs to go. In simple terms, they help power your body. But when levels drop too low, energy can begin disappearing little by little, not overnight, slowly, quietly. And because the change happens gradually, many seniors adapt to it without realizing how much their body is struggling. Let me explain it another way. Imagine your body has fuel in storage. But the delivery trucks never arrive, the fuel exists. But it never reaches the places that need it most. That's what low iron, low B12, or poor nutrition can sometimes feel like inside the body. And the signs are often easy to dismiss. Feeling weak after basic activity, getting out of breath more easily, pale skin, cold hands, brain fog, even feeling shaky or unsteady at times. Have you noticed this happening more often lately? Because many people assume these are just normal signs of aging, but sometimes they can be clues worth paying attention to, especially if the exhaustion keeps getting worse month after month. Now, this does not automatically mean something serious is happening, but it may be worth checking. One simple step can provide important answers. Ask your doctor about basic blood work. A simple test may reveal low iron, vitamin deficiencies, blood sugar issues, or other hidden problems that quietly affect energy. And what surprises many people is how much better they feel once the real issue is finally identified. But there's another hidden problem that can quietly drain energy every single day. And this one often works silently in the background for years before people connect the dots: inflammation and hidden stress on the body. Now that word inflammation sounds complicated, but the idea is actually very simple. When the body is constantly fighting something, pain, infection, high blood sugar, arthritis, or chronic illness, it uses energy to do that work, even while you sleep. Even while you rest, it's like keeping a car engine running all night long. By morning, the fuel tank is already lower than it should be, and this hidden stress can wear the body down slowly over time. That's why some seniors wake up feeling exhausted before the day even begins. Their body never truly got a chance to recover. And what makes this difficult is that chronic conditions often become so familiar that people stop noticing how much energy they steal. Achy joints become normal. Blood sugar crashes become routine. Feeling tired becomes expected. But your body may still be signaling that something needs attention. And if any of this sounds familiar, comment yes below. I read those comments carefully because so many people think they're alone in this, when actually millions of seniors are quietly dealing with the exact same struggle every day. Now here's something important. One of the worst things exhaustion can do is make people stop moving completely. But gentle movement can actually help the body more than many realize, even short walks. Simple stretching, light movement around the house. Because movement helps circulation, stiffness, mood, and energy systems work more smoothly. Not perfectly, but better. And sometimes those small daily habits become the turning point. But we still haven't talked about the warning sign that worries me the most. Because some forms of exhaustion don't begin in the muscles or blood at all. They begin somewhere much deeper. This is the kind of tiredness sleep alone cannot fix, and honestly, it's one of the most overlooked forms of exhaustion I see in older adults. Because from the outside, everything may appear fine. The person gets up, makes breakfast, watches television, answers phone calls, goes through the motions, but inside, something feels heavier than it used to, and many seniors never talk about it, especially those who spent their whole lives being strong for everyone else. Here's what people often miss: loneliness does not only affect emotions. It can affect the body too, deeply. The loss of a spouse, friends passing away, children living far from home, fewer conversations, quieter days. Over time, isolation can slowly drain motivation, energy, and even physical strength. It changes routines, it changes sleep, it changes appetite, and eventually many people stop feeling like themselves. The body slows down when the heart feels alone. Have you noticed that exhaustion sometimes feels worse on the quiet days? That's not something to ignore. Human connection matters more than many people realize. And no, this does not mean you need a huge social life. Sometimes one meaningful conversation can shift more than people expect. That's why I often encourage seniors to try one simple step: call one person this week, just one. Or visit a small community activity, church group, walking group, or local center. Not because it magically fixes everything, but because isolation grows stronger in silence, and small moments of connection can help interrupt that cycle. But the next issue is often hidden behind the words "I'm just getting older." And many people never recognize it because it does not always look the way they expect: depression. Now, when people hear that word, they often imagine someone crying all day or openly saying they feel hopeless. But in seniors, depression can look very different. Sometimes it simply feels like heaviness, no motivation, sleeping more than usual, no excitement about things that once brought joy. Feeling emotionally flat, mentally tired, physically tired. And because these changes happen slowly, many people assume it's just part of aging. But emotional exhaustion can affect the entire body. Energy drops, focus weakens, even small tasks begin feeling overwhelming. And the difficult part is many seniors suffer quietly, because they don't want to burden anyone. But this is far more common than people realize, and talking about it matters. Sometimes the most powerful first step is simply telling someone the truth about how you've been feeling: a trusted friend, a family member, a healthcare provider, because exhaustion is not always about weakness. Sometimes it's the weight the body has been carrying silently for far too long. And now we come to the deeper truth behind the exhaustion so many seniors feel. The part that connects everything we've talked about so far. Now we come to the part most people never hear. The deeper truth behind why so many seniors feel exhausted all the time. And once you see it, all the earlier signs start connecting together: the poor sleep, the dehydration, the nutrient deficiencies, the inflammation, the emotional stress, the loneliness. At first, these problems may seem separate, small things, unrelated things. But over time, they can begin stacking on top of each other quietly, little by little, until the body starts struggling to keep up. And this is the part I really want you to understand. Fatigue is often not just aging. In many cases, it may be the body's early warning system. The body whispers before it screams. That line matters more than most people realize, because serious health problems often begin with subtle changes long before bigger symptoms appear. Not dramatic pain, not emergencies, just quiet signals. Lower energy, mental fog, weakness, loss of motivation, feeling unusually drained after simple tasks. And because those symptoms arrive slowly, many seniors learn to live around them instead of asking why they're happening. But let me explain something important. The tiredness itself is not always the real problem. Sometimes, it's the signal, like smoke coming from behind a wall. The smoke is not the fire. It's the warning that something deeper may be happening where you cannot yet see it. And this is where so many older adults become unfairly hard on themselves. They blame themselves for slowing down. They call themselves lazy, weak, unmotivated. But many times the body may simply be asking for attention, not punishment, not shame, attention. Have you noticed how easy it is to ignore exhaustion when life gets busy? People say, I'll deal with it later, I'm probably fine, it's just age. But sometimes later turns into years, and by then the body has been struggling silently for a very long time. Now this does not mean every case of fatigue is dangerous, but ongoing exhaustion is worth listening to, especially when it becomes your new normal. That's why one of the smartest things you can do is schedule a full health review instead of simply pushing through the tiredness. Basic blood work, medication review, sleep habits, hydration, nutrition, even emotional health. Because when the full picture is finally examined, many people discover there was a real reason behind the exhaustion all along. And in some cases, addressing those hidden issues can slowly help people feel like themselves again, more steady, more clear-minded, more alive. But the final part may be the most important of all. Because this is where we stop talking about what's wrong and start talking about what you can still protect starting today. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this. Feeling constantly exhausted is not something you should automatically dismiss. Your body may be trying to tell you something important, and the good news is this. Many of the things we talked about today can improve when they are recognized early and properly addressed. Not overnight, not magically, but gradually. And sometimes those gradual changes can completely change a person's quality of life. Here's what I've seen again and again. Small daily habits matter far more than people think. A little more hydration, a short daily walk, better sleep routines, checking vitamin levels, talking honestly about emotional struggles, staying socially connected. These things may sound simple, but simple does not mean unimportant. In fact, some of the most powerful health changes begin with very small decisions repeated consistently over time. And let me say something directly to you for a moment. You deserve more than just getting through the day exhausted. You deserve strength, clarity, energy, independence. You deserve mornings where your body does not already feel defeated before the day even begins. And no, nobody feels perfect all the time as they age. That's not realistic, but there is a big difference between normal aging and silently suffering while assuming nothing can be done. That's why listening to your body matters, not fearing every symptom, not obsessing over every ache, just paying attention when something feels different for too long. Because sometimes the earliest warning signs are also the easiest to ignore, and this might surprise you. Some seniors who finally addressed the hidden causes behind their exhaustion later said the same thing. I wish I had paid attention sooner. So if you've been feeling tired for a long time, consider this your reminder not to brush it aside. Check the patterns, ask questions, talk to someone you trust, and give your body the attention it may have been quietly asking for. Because sometimes the most important health warning doesn't arrive with pain. It arrives quietly as exhaustion. If you know someone who constantly says they feel tired all the time, share this video with them. It may help them notice signs they've been overlooking for years. And if you found this helpful, subscribe for more simple, calm, and clear health discussions designed to help seniors stay informed, independent, and strong for as long as possible. Take care of yourself. And keep listening to what your body may be trying to say.